Welcome to the Market Mindset. We are the hub for news, results, and CEO interviews focusing in the junior commodities sector. We provide market analysis and perspective that will help position you for solid returns. If that sounds like something you're interested in, you can help support us by liking this video, subscribing to our channel, and clicking the notification bell. For more info, you can visit our website. All links are in the description below. Now let's get into today's video.
Happy Friday, everybody, and welcome to the show. We're going into a beautiful long weekend. Finally, it looks like about to start summer here. So it's going to be a fun long weekend. Get out there, enjoy it. But just want to give a quick shout out to the Cambridge House VRIC conference. Absolutely great, and all the hard work that Jay Martin and his entire team to put all that together. Really impressive. We had a great time. It was a great show. Lots of interviews. Got to catch up with people that we haven't seen for a while. So we're going to give our kind of impression about it. And then, Austin, why don't you tell us what your thoughts were right off the bat and kind of some of the highlights?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it was a fantastic event. Really great for them to be able to pull it all together. The general vibe from everyone we talked to there was, wow, it's great to kind of be back at the swing of things. Even if it's not, the best market out there for it, it's still great to be back in person, interacting with people. We talked to some people who said, the handshakes were a little longer, the hugs were a little tighter and stuff. So that's always a great feeling. I do want to give a great shout out to Red Cloud, who we work with. We have a great partnership with. They had a phenomenal event on Tuesday night. I think it was, for a lot of people, I think it was the highlight of the conference so far. They did a fantastic job. It was a bit of a coming out party for their Vancouver office, their Vancouver side of things. So big shout out to Jeff Wilson, Roger Blair, David Vickers, and the whole team over at Red Cloud Vancouver. They did a fantastic job with that.
Yeah, it really was. It was packed. It was a packed house. It was a lot of fun. And certainly as far as the fun factor, that was right up there. That was really good. And also I was lucky enough to go to the dinner that night as well. So getting to see Felipe Calderon, as well as Stephen Harper. That was a great event as well. Overall, very impressive. I mean, putting on a show like that is so challenging. And like you said, it's a tough market. No one's kidding themselves. But a lot of really great names that have pulled back, less, of course, than some other overvalued stuff, are looking really good. So, we reach out. We really want to reach out to people that are really excited generalist investors that want some ideas and are looking to expand upon their portfolio. We've got a lot of stories and a lot of great companies now that have real projects with incredible management teams that stocks have pulled back, not off of any bad data or any bad news. In fact, some good news that are looking very strong here for the long term.
Yeah, there's some great opportunities out there. And that was a theme you got talking to a lot of people. I know we had a good conversation with some of the guys over at American Lithium, Prime Mining, Apollo Silver. They kind of saying exactly that story. Look, this is a great opportunity for people to buy back in or, add on to their current positions in really strong companies that have incredible management teams that are at a great value right now for really what the project is overall.
Yeah, I mean, it's wonderful to be around a lot of these different companies. I mean, even catching up with my friend Brad Rourke over at Scotty, they're getting mobilized, and I think you're going to mention Goliath as well. And it's just people are starting to come together to understand that if they want to see this kind of future where we're tackling some of the emissions and environment, they're going to find some good and some fault with the ESG model, as we're seeing Elon Musk in the news lately, as well as being thrown out of the ESG sector, despite him having an electric car company. This is the fault you're going to see in this ESG sector is the politics side and the social side. But that's a whole other conversation. But I think some of these companies here, like Lithium Bank, that can provide enormous potential value to a place like Alberta, to be able to go into some of these oil and gas wells and get the lithium brine out. That shifts that kind of economy towards that future vision. We talked also to Quebec, a lithium company, Quebec Vision Lithium.
Yes.
So that was really interesting too, because, Quebec really gets it. They really get it. And I think I even said to them, like, listen, I wish the Quebec government could talk to the federal government and kind of set them straight, because they are investing heavily in this future energy shift. And once again, we're not saying there's not going to be oil and gas. There's absolutely going to be oil and gas. Yeah. And there's going to be not only a transition period, but there's always going to be a need for it. And that doesn't have to dissuade anyone from thinking, oh, it's not green, it's not that. There's a middle ground to all of this politics. And I think we're starting to see a curve to a lot of the misinformation out there. And hopefully people kind of come to their senses and see that there is that middle path.
There seems to be a much more rational approach. And I don't know if it's maybe just a unique experience for me getting to be at my first true resource mining conference and seeing that kind of attitude. But it does feel like there's a general kind of adoption amongst people and realizing, kind of waking up to this and really starting to wrap their heads around how you're going to have to solve these problems. I know you spent some time at the dinner you were talking about with Tavi Costa from Crescat Capital. They're big fans of Goliath. We got to do a little Goliath plug here. They've mobilized a 24,000 meter drill campaign that's going to range over the course of the summer up at their property in the Golden Triangle. That's going to be really fantastic. Exciting news for them. We're excited to see how that program goes, how those results look. But I mean, that's really awesome to see.
Yeah, they're up and going. And, Crescat with Dr. Quinton Henning. I mean, we let him do all the talking. I mean, he's a brilliant guy. He's an incredible geo, and that's been such a great story to be involved in for years now. But it makes my life a lot easier to be able to just go point to them. And it was great to speak with Tavi too. And you can see his video. It's just out on Kitco News as well, getting huge traction. This guy's a really smart guy. We saw him down in Las Vegas, and I was just kind of making notes, and he started talking. I was like, whoa, this guy's great. Yeah,
he was the highlight of the Vegas show for me was his kind of remarks, his 30-minute presentation, and his kind of, why they approach the market in the way they do, how they've built their strategy. It was really insightful, incredibly intelligent guy, great team they have over there. So anything that we see them getting involved with, and there were some other conversations he was having as well this week that hopefully are going to spark some stuff down the road.
Yeah,
anything that they're going to get involved in is really going to have a little highlight mark on it for me.
For sure. And I want to mention a couple other companies here because, everything's pulled back and people are kind of, a little shell shocked. And I know maybe we'll jump in before I mention some companies. Michael Burry actually has some net news. Maybe pull that one up first.
Yeah, so I'll just make a little mention of this here. We actually just noticed it about 5 minutes before we came on air that Michael Burry, of the fame of The Big Short, for anyone who's not aware of that, has piled back into some big tech names and some what he calls value investments, looking at new stock positions basically across a lot of the major players in the tech industry: Alphabet, Apple, Bristol Myers, Discovery Inc., Meta, Nexstar. There's Stellantis as well. And I mean, massive positions that he's taking up as well. All of them buying shares with the exception of Apple, interestingly, where he's bought about $35 million worth of put options. So that's quite interesting. But yeah, I think, I saw an article earlier this morning and kind of laughed at it and said, is this the bottom? And I said, if you have to ask if it's the bottom, I don't know if it is the bottom. But hey, you know what? Here's someone who is really tapped in, understands, has been incredibly successful, whether it's back to the 2008 crisis or even recently with the position he had in GameStop when they went on their run. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. Maybe he is seeing a real opportunity for a market bounce back here in the weeks and months ahead.
Sure. And I'm never a timing guy. So for me to call a top or bottom is the worst. But, we've seen some hints at has there been capitulation. Certainly some of those stocks have been pushed back so far that, and I don't spend a lot of time on Fang because everyone knows I don't like it. But maybe it has, especially those ones. It could be time. But we also know that in order for these ambitious goals that the EU, the UN, World Economic Forum, BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, the names, for them to hit, say, as COP26, 175 trillion they want to spend on climate solutions, that's an enormous inflation of value that they have to create. So, there's a lot of negative talk, and I kind of pointed out too that was either a lot of clickbait that they were talking about or a little political grandstanding. The other way to look at it is that maybe that's the intention, that they're going to try to create that amount of value.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, then if you're on that curve and you're involved in all those metals that are critical, that we're seeing that the Biden administration with the Defense Act, and then even the Canadian government is finally admitting that they need to get a handle on, because of inflation, because of the supply chain, we need to have some sort of control over our resources, where we get them, and how we can get that working more in our favor. The more we get that under control, the better off we're all going to be.
Well, we've said it before, and we'll continue to say it. We have to lean into being a resource country here. The Americans need to do the same. We have to embrace what we can do better than anyone else in the world can, and that's hold it to a high standard all across North America as well. I'll shout out, there's some great companies in Mexico that we've talked to and been involved with that do a fantastic job. But the more we can lean into that, the better an opportunity it's going to create, and the more we'll be able to secure our own supply, which I know was the theme of your presentation that you did on Tuesday, which I thought was fantastic. So maybe wrap up your thoughts on that. How did you think the presentation was? And you did a couple interviews as well.
We had a bunch of interviews. So, I had one on Kitco as well that I think went well. I mean, David over there at Kitco is an amazing interviewer, so he makes you feel very comfortable. But all the interviews are great. Charlotte over at Investor News Network, she's always a pleasure. People love her. She's so well at interviewing people, making them feel at ease. She's been doing it for a long time. Just wonderful. And of course, Small Cap Power. That was a fantastic one as well. It was great. It was great. I mean, and then, I could go on and on because it was a fun experience, and just seeing everyone and catching up with companies, despite it being, a down market. But there's some standouts too that I just kind of want to give a shout out to, because like a month ago, we talked to Barksdale Resources, and last month, I think everyone can say hasn't been the best month ever as far as your portfolio. It's that stock in the past month is up 29.79%. Wow. So we're going to reach out to them and see what's going on. There's no news flow, but obviously they're getting their message across. I thought it was a great interview and what they are positioning. So we're going to reach out to them hopefully next week or so and see what's happening. Of course, everyone knows I like Verde Agritech, and that one has been doing well. I mean, the last year to date, it's up 214%, but even in the last month, it's had a bit of a choppier month. So, and it's actually down for the month, but perhaps it's an opportunity for people to look at. Fertilizer is going to be a big theme moving forward. There's no doubt about it. I mean, literally just put food shortage in Google. It's going to be World Bank, IMF. It isn't Andrew saying it's an issue.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And, it's interesting to see, Barksdale's a bit of an anomaly. They've had a great kind of last month, but even to say, for a company like Verde to only have pulled back to the degree that they have is a lot better than most everyone else has been able to weather the economic storm of the last month.
Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people, like we said before, had to sell positions to meet obligations on other sides. Maybe their main portfolio pulled back, or maybe they had a leveraged account. So, I mean, it happens. It's not the end of the world. Also want to give a shout out to a company that we have been looking at. I kind of mentioned as well. And, it's this one's very interesting. It's called Atlas Salt. I've hinted at it before. And the last 5 days, up 25%. Yeah. This is a really very interesting story. They've got their Great Atlantic project. There's only 2 publicly traded salt companies. And you would be surprised. We're going to come out with some further information, but I love these niche markets that you think, well, salt, how exciting is salt? There's a vast and incredible history about salt. And there's a great video. We're going to find it for our subscribers that someone's already done on salt. And there's the history, the wars that have been fought over salt. Yeah. And we're going to talk about they've mentioned some here yesterday, or is it today, about some updates in regards to just the ease of this project. This isn't a metallurgic, chemistry project. This is just literally getting salt, put it on a conveyor belt, and I believe it's like 2 kilometers away. There's a port. I mean, this is one of the easiest CapEx kind of situation you can have. Yeah. They also have this official Brook Salt Dome, and this salt dome, we had a great conversation with some of the people that are involved with this company, and they made a very compelling argument with this that we're going to get into a little bit later, because we could put this whole show about salt. Yeah. But I want to thank Adrian Sydenham as well over at Market Smart Communications, who I've known for a couple of years. And I've reached out to him about salt, and then I just got caught with other things. This company is very interesting, very exciting. We're going to be doing a lot more work looking at them, but we love these niche kind of situations. As you know, we love helium, we love graphene, things that people haven't heard as much, but that are going to be of critical supply and demand. And also, salt's a bit easier for people to understand. Like, they'll know in Canada you need it for the roads. Like, there's an industrial use, a chemical use, and of course then for salt on the roads. And if you think that there's climate change and weather change, that means there's a lot of change as far as winter goes as well.
Well, I mean, I can speak to it as being out in Alberta. You're not getting anywhere without being able to get some salt on the roads out there. And we'll plug it as well. I don't think you mentioned it, but Newfoundland.
Yes,
that's one of the most exciting parts about it for me.
Yes, thank you.
It's in Newfoundland, in Canada, right at home. You mentioned right close to a port. It's right there. So really excited to kind of dive into that a bit more down the road and see kind of the ins and outs of the entire project.
Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, Newfoundland, holy smokes, in the last year, I mean, as far as gold companies,
yes,
people gobbling up land out there, it is amazing, and it's great. We like to see that in provinces that need a bit of love and a little support because they've been hit harder than others. So places like Alberta, where they get to kind of reimagine and shift their economy, it's going to be a great year for oil and gas. Don't get me wrong, but it'll also be great to see companies like E3 as well as Lithium Bank propel this new vision forward of being able to get lithium out of the ground.
Yeah.
And, we're really excited because that's the fun part of this, is looking to see that interaction of how our foundation of the world, our resources, how they make a difference in technology and help create this future vision that we all want to see.
And from any kind of conversations that we've had as well, it sounds like the government in Newfoundland is much more similar to what we see in Quebec in being mining friendly and not wanting to put as many restrictions and hurdles for these companies to have to jump through. So I think it could be a big year for Newfoundland in general for companies out that way. And that'd be really awesome to see.
Yeah, and just so people are clear, these hurdles and obstacles aren't, as far as like environment and whatnot. That's what you'll hear in the news, and that's a lazy kind of excuse or a hit piece. We've talked to a number of lawyers here, and they like hearken that, or they highlight that Canada for decades has had incredible high levels of ESG or environmental standards as far as mining goes. So it's not true in many cases. I'm sure people can pull out one or two here and there, or they can certainly look back in history. That's no problem. But moving forward, people should become more comfortable with this concept and idea. And I say in the presentation is you want it in your backyard, like not the NIMBY crowd, which is, we all know about the just let China do it. I don't want to know about it. I don't want to know how we get our energy or how we get our computer chips or how we get to do our Bitcoin mining. We want it in our backyard because then we're going to have a very strong vested interest in doing it correctly and having stakeholders and having people feel comfortable and educated.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a perfect way to kind of wrap it up. I'll plug it again. Go check out. We're going to have an email blast over the weekend that's going to wrap up all the interviews that you did, plus the presentation, plus some of our kind of highlights as well. We did a little F1 style walking through the booths and talking to kind of ambushing everyone we could and getting their story, which was a lot of fun, really interesting conversations there. So yeah, stay tuned for all that content. Go check it out. Really great interviews, really great stuff. Awesome conference to be at. Really excited about it. So great times.
Really good. Enjoy your weekend, everyone. Take care.
Thanks, guys.